Welcome to this short video on improving your negotiation skills. Good negotiations contribute significantly to business success and improve customer retention and supplier loyalty. Good negotiations help you to build better relationships, deliver lasting and quality solutions, rather than poor short-term solutions that do not satisfy the needs of either party, and they help you avoid future problems and conflicts. Here are 16 steps on how you can improve your negotiation skills. Do your homework. Preparing for a negotiation has two primary functions. The first is so that you can practice what you're going to say to the other person and how you're going to say it. This is a way of mentally rehearsing and preparing yourself. The second function of preparing is to gather information. Negotiations are often more successful when both parties know a little more about the other person. If we don't know why the other person wants what they want, then we have no way of knowing how to respond. Put yourself in their shoes. When you are preparing for a negotiation, you must put yourself in the other person's shoes. That means you must try to imagine what it would be like to be in that person's situation. You never know what you might discover by putting yourself in the other person's shoes. There may be some common ground that can lead to a more positive outcome. There may also be some things you discover that can help you narrow down what you need to negotiate. Putting yourself in the other person's shoes also allows you to understand their perspective. That can be especially helpful if the other person seems unreasonable. In that case, you might discover an area where you can establish some common ground. Always remember that any situation has two sides, and you should look at it from your and the other person's perspective. Aim for a win-win situation. When you're trying to get a win-win situation, you're trying to find a solution that satisfies both parties. You don't try to win at all costs. You don't try to force the other person into a situation they don't want to be in. There are times when you'll want to accept less money, as there are times when the other person will want to accept less money. There will be multiple reasons for both sides. That's when you want to aim for a win-win situation. You want to find a solution that meets the needs of both parties. Also, make sure that the outcome is reasonable and you are not settling for less or expecting the other party to settle for less. Don't lose your cool. While it's important to be calm and rational in a negotiation, it's also important to be yourself. If you lose your temper and start screaming, then you might get what you want, but you've likely destroyed most of your relationship with the other person. Make sure that you stay calm at all times and try to see a situation from both sides. Sometimes the other party can raise their voice or project as rude, but that might just be because of their own professional or personal experience. Try to calm the person down and get to an agreement. If this person continues to be rude, call a manager or someone that can help you and explain the situation to them. At all times, just try to stay calm and never raise your voice at a customer or colleague. Know when it's time to walk away. There will be times when you just can't get past a particular issue. You may feel that you are negotiating all the way up to the edge of a cliff. There may be a very simple issue that the other person keeps avoiding. There may be a major issue that the other person keeps avoiding. You may have gotten as far as you could get. When you recognize that it's time to walk away, don't worry about angering the other person. Worry instead about the relationship between both of you. Worry about how you're going to work together in the future. Worry about how you're going to stay on the same page. At times like these, it's important to maintain good relationships. But, make sure that you do not burn yourself out trying to negotiate with someone who has a wall up and doesn't want to consider any other options than their own. Take your time. Many people feel the need to push things along as quickly as possible, but rushing into a negotiation can often lead to mistakes. This is often because you are under extreme time pressures and need to get a deal done quickly. Your counterpart might also feel rushed, which is when people often make mistakes. It is always better to be in a hurry than to be too slow. But be aware of how you are feeling and don't let impatience control your actions. It is also important to maintain a calm, collected, and confident demeanor. When trying to negotiate something important, such as getting a new job or a pay rise, it is essential to make the process as easy as possible for both parties. Avoid rushing the process by being overly pressured to get a deal done. Take your time, be patient, and don't rush the other person into making a decision. If you make the other person feel pressured or rushed, they will be more likely to make mistakes too. Communication is key. When negotiating with someone, it is extremely important to be clear, honest, and genuine in your communication. You don't want to confuse your counterpart with vague, confusing, or false statements. You also don't want to give away information or ideas that you don't want to be made public. Be as clear as you possibly can and avoid ambiguous conversations. If you are unsure about something, just ask. Be sure on how you communicate and get the message through clearly, without being misleading. Listen carefully. Negotiating is all about the other person. The way you look, what you say, and how you say it are all very important in a negotiation. You have to show the other person that you are interested in what they have to say, and that you are truly interested in what they have to offer. When you are listening, you are showing the other person respect and that you care about what they are saying. This will make the other person feel valued and respected. You have to show that you care by using open, curious, and genuine body language as well. This will also help you to avoid looking like you are reading a script or that you are bored. Explore other possibilities. At times, there might not be a perfect deal out there. Sometimes people are completely uninterested in making the deal happen. This can happen when people are only interested in getting things done, and not in the outcome, or when people have different valuations for the deal. If this is the case, you might have to accept that there are other options that you have to choose from. This does not mean that you are giving up. You have to keep exploring other options, even if you have to come back to the negotiation again and again. Be patient, be clear in your negotiations, and don't give up if things are not working out the first time. Be clear on boundaries. Boundaries are set lines that help you to avoid being pushed beyond a certain limit. You can set limits, such as telling the other person that you will only agree to something if the deal is within a certain amount, or you have certain terms and conditions. Boundaries help you to understand when to stop negotiating. You can also avoid being pressured into doing things that you are not comfortable doing, or things that you don't want to do. Setting boundaries can keep the negotiation from getting out of control, and it can also lead to better deals. Define and confirm. The first step in any negotiation is to establish a definition of each participant's role in the negotiation process. You should define the negotiation process and the roles of each participant involved in it. You will want to confirm the roles, interests, and expectations of each participant. Doing this will help you avoid miscommunication and misunderstanding. Good negotiation is all about understanding each other's concerns, ensuring that everyone is on the same page and making sure everyone's needs are met. Communication is key here. Yes is not always success. Once you're all clear on the roles and expectations each person has in the negotiation process, it's important to remember that yes is not always success. You can't expect to get everything you want just because you ask for it. This is especially true in negotiation. Instead of looking at a negotiation as a series of give and take, it may be helpful to think of negotiation as a series of one-upmanship. Success in negotiation is about impressing your negotiation partner, not about winning every single round. Practice, practice, practice. Part of the reason negotiation can be so confusing is that it's an extremely new skill for many people. Don't be discouraged if you have a ton of trouble with negotiation in the beginning. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Keep in mind that negotiation isn't just about your skills, but also about your negotiation partner's skills and how the situation affects both of you. You'll want to practice the skills you'll learn in this video so you're ready when the time comes to use them. In addition to learning how to effectively negotiate in your specific field, you'll also want to make sure you're learning to effectively negotiate in general. Negotiation isn't just about your finances, your career, your relationships, and your everyday life. There are many types of negotiation you'll want to be prepared for throughout your life, both in your professional and personal life. When you have a better grasp on the basics, you'll be ready to take on the next step and learn how to effectively negotiate with your boss, a customer, or coworker, and even your friends and family. Keep in mind that negotiation isn't something that should just be done once or twice and then you're done. It's an ongoing process that should be made part of your everyday life. Finding the right balance between being tough and being kind will help you get the best outcome possible. Keep in mind that negotiations are not always about getting your way. Instead, you want to find a solution that works for both parties. You also want to make sure that you maintain good relationships with the people you work with. With a little preparation and practice, you will be able to negotiate better and walk away with a win-win outcome. Let them win the first negotiation, and they will usually be happy enough to let you win 2 to 3 more. Thank you for watching this short video on negotiation skills in the workplace.